Hi, welcome back. We're working on the left inside panel of our album, which is this one. And I'm going to kind of try to keep it a little simple. We're going to just do a pocket, and I'm using the back side of this paper. I'm going to use the solid side. So this piece here measures 7.5 by 7 7/8, and I can see I forgot to ink it, so if you'll just bear with me. I'm using Tim Holtz Black Soot out of the Distress ink line. And it doesn't take too long. Just get this part done. I should have had it done before I started. Okay, so you should have this in your scraps. This is from the front of the album cuttings, and I'm not reducing the size of this. So I have cut my pocket to handle this strip. So the pocket itself is going to measure 2.5 inches. Actually, it's 2 5/8. So 2 5/8 by 7 7/8. So 2 5/8 by 7 7/8. Now, let me grab something real quick, so bear with me. This is a die that I'm using to make my scalloped edge. Now, this die is an unbranded die. And when I went back to the website that I got it from, it's no longer in production. So a punch or a die, if you want to get close to this, just a nice rounded little scallop. And then what I did was I cut two. I cut one in gold and one in black. And then I've layered the black over the gold. And then I am putting that here on the edge. I was trying to get the appearance of a bumblebee. They're black and gold or black and yellow. So something similar to this. If you do not have anything that will accommodate this, then pick any die that you want that's going to work for you. Okay? So then out of the ephemera, and I want to get rid of the white on this real quick, I pulled this out, and I'm going to just put it up here so that it kind of takes up some of all this red. Now, Graphic 45 also has a pocket die. So I'm using this die to create this pocket. Folding it in half, I ran this die back through my machine, cut in two separate pieces. I needed a piece that was up here that was solid red, and then I wanted this piece down here, but with the red stripes. So that when I put this together, this comes on the inside, and I trimmed it down so that there was a little bit of black, and I trimmed in the corners just a little bit. So then when you close this, that's what you see. And then I trimmed this down just a bit so that it was framed in black, and this came out of the sticker sheets. So this pocket is going to go here with this first signature. So let's go ahead and let's get things assembled here. Just a tad bit of glue, doesn't take very much. Okay. Now, I don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way to put this down, but I liked it like that. So I have this taped and ready to go. And I'm going to set it down right here in this corner, and then I'm going to walk it up. And then we're going to glue this on. And then I'm going to, I'm just going to ink the top. Just get rid of the white. And we'll get this glued on. And I just want, whoops, I got glue there. Just want it to just be a little bit of black here at the top. And then I'm going to use tape because glue spreads so terribly. I'm going to use 1/8 inch tape to seal the ends of this pocket. Fold this up, and I made a mistake of taking that tape all the way to the end. That was not smart on my part. So here's how I'm going to fix that. I am just going to put a touch of undo here on the end, and then I'm going to take my craft knife and I'm just going to cut the tape right there on the edge of the cardstock. Oops, it's stay in there. I don't need all of it coming out. Lift this and tuck this under. There we go. I still have a little bit that wants to peek out. Let's see what we can do with that. All right, got that handled. And now, and again, this is the reverse side of this. So I'm trying to maximize my scraps because that's where these two trimmings came out of, was a long piece of this, just manipulating how I'm cutting it. And then we're just going to glue this on, and then again, this came off one of the sticker sheets. Okay. And there it is. So again, it's really quick, it's kind of simple, but I'm trying to save the bulk of the paper for the bigger signatures. So we'll get to those here momentarily, but let's turn this over and we're going to put tape on the back, and then we're going to get this in our album. Now, when I put tape on my signatures, I use at a minimum a 1/2 inch because I want to make sure that there's good coverage so that the signatures will stay down in the album. And the heavier the signature, I'll jump up to 5/8 of an inch. I will always put using 3/8 of an inch, I will put 2 center supports. So again, keeping the signature down into the album. Now we'll give it a good old burnish. And we'll grab this. I'm going to pull this out because we're going to have to burnish this. I'm going to take these two off. Now remember this right here, so I'll show you how this ends up. So I'm going to put this right here on about 1/8 of an inch off the edge of the album, and then this will come over about 1/8 of an inch onto this trim piece. This end's got a little bit of bulk to it because of all the cardstock, so I'm bending it a bit to try to get this tape off here, but no worries. Once we get it down, it will be just fine. British. Okay, and then we'll put this back in there. And there's our first signature. So we'll be coming back. We'll be doing signature number 1. So until then, bye-bye.